This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 479 for the week of Monday, July 24th, 2017. My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Oh my god. Where's Zach?
Well, the response was very positive about our newest special, the live reaction to the live-action One Piece TV series, that we were asked to just come back and host a regular episode. Not because Zach is out of town.
Not at all.
Zach's currently in a plane over the Rocky Mountains.
No.
What? Like John Denver? That's not. No.
That's dark.
No.
That's dark, Alex.
Well, you made it dark.
Okay,
I just finished your thought.
We do have guests here today. We have YouTube sensation Roger's Base.
Right, I am back. I'm feeling better than ever, even though I have the sniffles this week, but that's okay.
All right, and we also have ANN One Piece reviewer and anime recap host Sam Leach.
Have no fear, for I am here.
Fantastic.
Everyone's got a gimmick.
And now that we have both of you guys here, why don't we get your opinion on this news that went down this past week? Roger, have you done a video on it yet?
I did, yeah. So I actually
All right.
did a live stream the night of, because that was the 20th day of my 20 for 20 series.
Right.
And I am going to be optimistic for one reason. Tomorrow Studios, which is the company that is developing this, is down the street from me. And if I want to have a future in potentially helping making this series good, I'm not going to say anything negative about it. Because I'd love to work on it as a consultant or something.
You're an honest man,
anybody
Roger.
who's in I know, I mean that's how it is. I really love to work on it as a consultant, but I mean, as it stands right now, I don't think it's going to be a Dragon Ball Evolution type of scenario. I have more faith in it than that movie. But I don't know. It's just it's a wait and see kind of thing. I wasn't particularly thrilled. I thought the 22nd announcement was going to be something else. But I was actually more excited by the news that there was a special collaboration with City of Kyoto to honor the beginning of Wano Country. That was way more interesting to me. So
That's pretty cool. And also One Piece Day, national
And One Piece
holiday.
Day. That's
I
right.
mean, it's not a holiday. You don't get off work for it. You should, but
It was also on a Saturday, so.
well,
Well,
at least they didn't make the people go to work on Saturday.
what's cool about it being something in Japan is you pretty much get to celebrate it in 2 days. Like, we get to celebrate it because, time zones and science and all that.
I want
course.
to ask you guys though about the live action thing, because I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole episode you guys did talking about it yet. I've only listened to like the first 25 minutes. What distribution platform do you guys think this is going to be on? Like network TV or like a cable channel or Netflix or Hulu or what's your idea?
My thinking is it's probably going to be streaming or streaming or maybe cable.
Yeah, I don't think network television's going to go for this.
Streaming.
Amazon, I think, would be a good one.
Amazon's
Yeah.
good.
Sam, did you have any thoughts about it?
I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, I think I can only imagine what they're hoping for is they're trying to, bring the One Piece hype back to where it was around like 2010, 2011. And if the show is good, I think that's the way to do it. But it's like you just can't even imagine what some of this stuff is going to look like, or if they're even going to adapt certain things.
That's right.
And like Roger, I guess I have certain aspirations, but I do not live across the street from them. So
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So on this episode today, we also have a manga recap for chapter 873, Recipe for Disaster, an anime recap of episode 797. Sam, you don't have the title of that, do you?
Oh, I do have that title. It is 798, an enemy worth 800 million, Luffy versus 1,000 armed cracker.
Fantastic. We also have some piece together, and also want to remind everybody that we will be back next week. Even though the manga will be off, we will have Steven on to talk about the One Piece magazine book. So that will be exciting. Steven's newly air-conditioned, and he will return to the show next week to talk about that. And coming up in like 2.5 weeks, we will all be in Washington, D.C. for Otakon, the 20 Years of One Piece panel. That'll be quite a thing to behold. You should all be there or be square. So check us out, Otakon. Anything else you guys want to plug before we start the show?
I'll just plug stuff at the end, man.
All right, let's get straight into this manga.
let's get right into the news.
This is the manga recap for chapter 873, Recipe for Disaster. We're not starting with the chapter this week, we're starting with the cover of Jump, which is a highly detailed Luffy handing the Shonen Jump pirate logo, ironically enough, to the reader, I suppose? Yeah, let's go with that. He's passing it on. Yeah. Look at the work on the hands there, Steve.
Yes, I feel like this is like this is like a multiple man job. I'm surprised Luffy's just the only guy here offering you a Shonen Jump pirate.
I think on the Japanese Jump cover it was
wear on your shirt.
More than one on the Japanese cover.
Yeah, there was like Midoriya and stuff on there.
Yep.
Yeah, they
That
tend
is
to
correct.
for the digital covers. They tend to leave out whoever's not really focused.
It's an interesting
that
Photoshop
guy's-
effect back there.
I like it. I think
Yeah.
it looks good.
Bubbles. Lots and
I
lots
like
of
his
bubbles.
big meaty claws. His big meaty claws look nice.
It's very Sabo had the
What
hands
did
like
you
that.
say?
Right?
Big meaty claws.
Yeah, he's got sausage fingers.
Well, these sausage fingers aren't just for attracting mates.
No, they're for sausaging.
God.
They're my sausaging fingers.
Alex has never seen SpongeBob.
I've seen a couple.
Alex is an old man.
I'm old.
Old man who likes Charlotte's Web instead of Babe.
Yeah,
An old man that's
but had an old
That's
man with
pretty
correct
astute.
opinions.
All right. So this is chapter 873, Recipe for Disaster, and the cover story this week is the saga of the self-proclaimed Straw Hat Fleet, Volume 9, Bartolomeo. We are offering all citizens a half-off sale on stickers, so act now, and, what? Yeah.
And what's that?
That is
It's a flag.
Yeah, that's a big pirate flag. That's a big Shanks pirate flag. So
Has he been selling bootleg Straw Hat merchandise in Shanks territory?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So he's gonna flip out next chapter. He's gonna have a fangasm, so to speak.
he's going to pay some
You better.
taxes.
Now, do we
Uh,
expect to see Shanks in the next one, or do we think that
Of
this
course,
is just like
yeah.
Shanks' territory, or is this just one of Shanks' like?
Shanks is also
Places.
going to reveal his backstory of being on Roger's crew, all in this cover story.
Because this is the kind of flag you would see like Whitebeard or Big Mom have on somebody else's
Yeah.
island.
Yeah.
Of any of the
Crazy to think
characters-
that Shanks also does the same thing, claiming territories and all that. I guess it makes sense, with the emperors, but he didn't strike me as that kind of guy.
Well,
Yeah,
Luffy
also
would,
because
Luffy would
Uh,
claim Fishman Island at some point just to protect it. You don't know
Yeah, that's
Like-
true.
what Shanks' motives are.
It's crazy
I
how
would
Gambia
re-
is actually the xenomorph from Alien.
it does a little bit look like it.
Shanks' flag also looks a lot different. It looks a lot like Brooke.
How
A
funny
bit.
would it be if that's actually a bootleg Shanks flag and he's about to be the fanboy for Shanks like he is for Luffy? He's going to make the
That'd be
fanboy of the idol of his idol.
Oh,
how
my
often do you
head
think
hurts.
that happens? The fake Emperor flags.
on I thought I said how many times do fanboys go at it? I'm like, oh, on the internet. Daily.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Any thoughts on the cover?
I love it.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. So back on the first page, we just get, "Are you okay? Someone help me! Thought I was a goner. We were gonna get crushed under that cake." And there's a monkey man pulling a gloop-covered woman out of the cake there, and he hears voices from over yonder where he's pointing. He says, "Pull them out!" And we get a look at the background there. It's a French accent. What? S'il vous plaît. Can it be? I know this is happening at the tea party. They still had pirates were there. Yeah, it was a disaster, and the wedding and the cake are ruined. I don't really know who's talking. Is that
That's-
Mondor.
Mondor? Okay.
Was that Canadian French, Ed?
It
actually,
was.
it actually was French Canadian. A lot of my French accent is French Canadian.
Well, it's South Park French Canadian.
Yeah, that's true. Our plan to wipe out the Vinsmokes failed. On top of that, Bedge betrayed us and actually planned to assassinate Mama. Curse your Bedge. To think that I actually put the trust in you. Well, it's still an absolute mystery as to what that explosion was about, says Compote, eldest daughter of the Charlotte.
Is that how you pronounce it? Compote?
Yeah, it's like a fruit
raspberry
reduction.
compote.
Yeah.
You put it
To
on
me,
pancakes at IHOP.
It just sounds like compost to me.
That's kind of what it looks like.
Yummy, yummy.
It is pretty good, though. Another one continues, if they did that, it was suicidal. They were on the rooftop with us, so that's unlikely. Good point. He says, but at least we have served one mystery. During the tea party, all our means of contact with Lafette were blocked. What that was due to Bedge's sabotage.
I love your Montdor voice.
This is my Montdor after like a week's worth of coffee.
Like a regular guy.
Yeah.
It's just a regular old juggalo.
Sometimes we can have characters in One Piece that don't have a funny voice or accent.
Yeah.
And who's the guy with the stupid thing on his head?
Oh, Oven with
Oven.
the fidget spinner hair?
Yes. Was there something that you needed to report? And he says, we, over on the eastern coast where they had been staying, the pirates of La Sun.
I love that.
That's right, they were notorious. Heckums! The fishermen pirates all packed their bags and hit the road. What are they thinking?
What was Aladdin thinking?
Is Daifuku in this spread at all? Because that really would have been poignant if he was.
No, not yet.
Unfortunate.
Who knows if they've ever even met?
Yeah.
But we move on to the next page, and I think who's talking here? This isn't Peckham's, obviously. Maybe Montdor?
I think
of
it's
them.
Montdor still talking, yeah.
Yeah, just one of them, and he goes, huh? What'd you say? Jimbei quit and joined forces with the Straw Hats? That would probably be why he knew that Mama's rage would spread, so he took back his request to leave temporarily in order to give his comrades time to escape. And then one of the characters, I think this is Compote, saying, that sounds like Jimbei. Very thorough strategy. And then now we've got Genie Weenie himself, or at least the guy who summons Genie Weenie, and he says, Katakuri, we've already sent troops after Straw Hat and Beige. And then Montdor says, oh no, that's still him, saying, we got another group laying siege to Jerma. And Katakuri with his cool anime voice says, good. Come with me, Brule. And
Of course,
Brule
Roger's
goes,
cosplay character gets the best voice.
of course, he's the best. And Brule goes, of course, brother. Are you going to snuff out those Straw Hats because they deserve it? Oh, all the ways they abused me. Wah!
Make it sound like she enjoyed it.
That was Mario right there.
I don't. Well, it was a little bit. It was like a mix of Waluigi and Daisy, I think. And
Hi, I'm Brule.
hi, I'm Brule.
The worst.
But we come back to Katakuri saying, "That's the plan, and I will bring down Straw Hat Luffy myself. I can sense that he ought to be snuffed out now before he becomes a true threat to Mama." Wait, Smoothie? Everyone, get away from the town as far away as you can. Ugh, what now? Once again, Katakuri is the only competent one of the entire Charlotte family. And
Yeah, remember
Smoothie's
when he
running
used to
away.
predict all these things happening? Now he's just like,
Yeah.
oh, he should be snuffed out. Because I feel that way, not because I can predict it anymore.
And Montdor goes, "What's the matter, Sister Smoothie? Run, Montdor!" And we see the enraged Big Mom behind Smoothie. And Montdor goes, "Oh no, not now."
Not again.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, what, 500 feet behind them?
yeah, like they're just kind of chatting while all this is happening. Big Mom is rampaging the fuck out of the city, punching down buildings with hockey, and what's that? She's carrying around a little goopy, floopy guy. Looks like Opera. It's Opera. I'm not gonna be be like, oh, mysterious about it. It's Opera. She's holding an unconscious
He looks
Opera.
dead. He looks dead to me. He looks deader than Charlotte Moscato, Minister of Gelato.
He does.
Or maybe just as dead. We'll find out in a moment. She's screaming about the wedding cake. She's, doing her thing. And the citizens are remarking that it's one of Her Majesty's hunger pangs. She's never had her fits on such a short interval like this. Yeah, literally the other day she was.
I ascribe it to the increased intake of dietary fiber.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
wrong IT.
Literally-
Yeah, okay.
She was literally cranking on about the croquembouche the other day. So in that panel, you see a bunch of humans and what appears to be a foxmake and Panda Man. And Daifuku remarks that she remembered that the wedding cake was destroyed and she didn't get to eat any. Oh no! And look, in her hand, as Montador notices, what we noticed just a second ago, that's Brother Opera. Did she drain his lifespan from him? He was foolish enough to stand up to her. Everyone get away. And there he is, another dead kid. Dead kid.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if they were ever really alive to begin with, man.
Hey man, that's some pretty heavy stuff, man.
That's deep.
So Smoothie says, you know the drill. The only way to stop her hunger pangs is to give her the exact food that she craves, aka the exact food that she's screaming about. There's a hint. It's a fun little game. So they're wondering where the head chef Strusen is, since he's the only one who can recreate that particular cake. And turns out, while he did save everybody's life by turning the cake whole cake chateau into a real cake, he landed pretty badly, and he has a humongous, I would call that a large-sized bowling ball-sized bump, where most of his face should be.
I thought that was his nose. No, his nose is next to it.
Yeah.
They had to bandage up the bump, just wrap it around.
Yeah,
Dead
you
I
can
like
fit
the
feel
bowling
everything.
ball-sized bump. That's a good descriptor. I'd call it the bowling bump.
the bowling bump. Yes,
I
You
forget
you
what
could
those
fit
things
about-
are called. Because those
What?
things are those things can happen.
A
not to this large
hematoma?
extent. Just those
like a goiter,
A hematoma.
crazy ass bumps.
hematoma. I'm not a doctor, but the doctor in this panel is, and he says that Strusen won't recover for days. Well, he's a doctor. You better listen to him. So Daifuku wonders, how are we going to help stop Mama? And Perospero says, well, we don't want her to rampage here in the capital. ... Next page.
And meanwhile, Mama continues to rampage in the capital. So Perospero gets desperate and says, "Mama, we do have a wedding cake for you." And everyone's like, "Brother Peros, what are you saying?" It's like, and he continues, "There is a backup cake, Mama, made with the finest ingredients, delicious enough to melt in your mouth. It'll be the perfect wedding cake."
What are you doing? What voice are you doing?
Sammy Davis Jr.
trying. I'm trying to do
Oh,
Sammy
it's a
Davis.
Sammy Davis Jr. voice.
Ah, I was right. All right.
Thank you. I could change it up.
There's not enough babe in there.
Babe. Well, he's saying Mama. It would be weird for him to call Mama Babe. But
Everyone's babe.
and we pan out wide on the toppled over Chateau as he continues like, "Oh wow, we wish for you to try it, Mama. But alas, the wicked Straw Hat crew has made off with your threat, paranoid babe."
Treat.
Treat. What did I say? Threat?
Yeah. Made off with her threat. Whatever that means.
So like, "We are heading to the southwest beach and attempt to escape as we speak." And Mama gets up in this awesome panel. We just see like the scale, and of course we're familiar with how big Mom is, but this is just a cool looking panel, and her face shadowed in black, no pupils. As Perospero continues, like, yeah, they have it. And as he thinks and deep in his mind, and it's just a normal voice, it says she could still listen to reason. If she goes after them, that's two birds with one stone, babe.
Why are you listening to me? I'm just Hat. Your head ended 2 feet ago.
Katakuri just looks on, offers nothing to say but an ellipses. Not ellipses. I forget what the 3 periods are called.
That's ellipses.
That's ellipses.
Is it ellipses? Sorry, I was
so.
thinking of something else.
Yeah.
I also
Then-
call them word bullets.
Pew pew.
And Smoothie's like, "Will this actually work? Will this lure her away?" And all the citizens just look on, kind of murmuring to themselves.
Fucking better.
Mama drools, and then she turns to Perospero with those crazy eyes. And she says, "If you lie to me, you'll pay with your lifespan."
That's
And,
an awesome panel.
Perospero craps his pants. Well,
He
it's
drops
implied.
he drops a big old Perospero-sized load,
Yeah.
which is it varies depending on.
Big old
Anyway.
chocolate log in the pants.
Yeah. It's like a root beer barrel. Big Mom calls for Zeus. Yes, Mama. Duh. And she jumps on Zeus like Quinton.
Look how happy he is. Look how happy the cloud is.
Yeah, I love it. And she flies towards the stratosphere in a panel straight out of Dragon Ball.
Perfect.
And shouting.
Gotta eat it all. Yummy wedding cake.
It doesn't rhyme.
God forbid.
But I admire your moxie.
Does the Japanese lyrics rhyme there?
No.
Then shut up.
Okay. I won't finish this page. No. So anyway.
I'm gonna make one Mamafushigi adventure joke on here.
Mamafushigi. I love it.
There we go.
Mamafushigi adventure.
There we go. Yeah.
There it is. Thank God. Oh, I'm so glad to be back, you guys. Love being here for these. This panel is straight out of Dragon Ball, super terrifying. It's like if a shark were airborne. Like, don't give that shark an airplane.
This is
What
the
are you
entire
doing?
premise of the Sharknado movies.
I've only watched the one, and I didn't care for it.
You're a
Anyway,
brave soul, braver than I.
yeah.
Tara Reid's
So-
arm gets bitten off. What else do you need to know?
What?
Never
Why are we
mind.
talking about this?
Tara Reid's arm
Why are we
gets bit
walking
off.
like this?
Does she
So-
doesn't she in the sequels?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't.
Stop it.
No one cares. I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should apologize. Anyway, she's flying off, and as Perospero looks on, he's like, "Well, this is bad. I done messed up." Smoothie says, "It might seem like you lured her away, but after she destroys the Straw Hats, she's not going to find any cake. And when she comes back here, we're all done for. She's going to make us all dead." But that did buy us some time, so we have to bake a cake now or the island is finished. And for the first time, I think, in the entirety of this arc, you see Perospero at the end of his rope. Like, he actually looks worried for the first time. Like, I've noticed that he's just still cocky looking through all the events that had transpired up to this
He's
point.
one of the older children, isn't he?
He's the oldest.
He's the
Yeah,
first-
he's the
male.
firstborn. Yeah, he's been around the longest. So,
Yeah.
he's seen a lot. He's seen some shit, man.
He has. Yeah. Yeah, he says it's impossible. Think about it, Smoothie. How many days did that cake take to make? And that was with the head chef. All those legendary ingredients that we plundered from other countries are gone, and the one man who can make it is unconscious. There will be no cake.
No.
I know.
There
it's
aren't really any egg brownies.
And to make matters worse, Mama didn't even get to taste a single bite of that cake first. Then what will her order be? A cake that Mama's imagination has run wild with, one that she's never even tasted before?
You know, every time one of these characters starts talking about the cake, I replace their face with Greg's and imagine that he's saying it directly to me.
Grex?
Yeah, because this is just like his theory of Sanji having to bake a cake. It's
Oh, yeah.
by the end of this
Damn it, Greg.
by the end of this chapter, like, oh my god. Anyway,
I-
we'll get to that at the end of the chapter, but
Yeah.
Damn it, Greg. Damn.
who this is the one I was talking about in particular when I said that. Who's gonna bake that for her?
Babe.
For her, babe. Who's gonna bake? Who's gonna bake?
Who's
Yeah, I won the boss.
Who's gonna bake him away, toys?
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez, boss.
She was dead when we got there, babe.
There ain't no cook on the island, boss. I don't know who's gonna bake this cake.
Thanks, Greg. This Makata Curry retorts, "This is bad at the very least. she'll destroy the island, and anything beyond that is an unknown variable at this point. So we start with total destruction and work our way from there.
Oh, did you use your powers to see the future, Katakuri, or did you just state the obvious, Captain Obvious? Sorry, I really want to just rag on Katakuri now for the, oh no, he could see into the future, his hockey's that good, and then the wedding shit hits the fan. Oh no, I can't see.
From the moment that Sanji dodged that jelly bean from him, I'm like, oh, this guy was overrated.
Katakuri's like, oh wait, I actually suck. Not to rag on him too much, but come.
The citizens of Totoland look up and someone says, "Want me to come to the rescue? I am evil pudding. I am evil pudding." Look at this. All right, so we got Pudding coming down on the cake. She's coming down like the evil queen out of a fairy tale or something, with her like stern expression and sidekick and flying rug. It's great.
Evil Jasmine.
Yeah. The wedding cake was supposed to be a chocolate chiffon cake, and when it comes to chocolate, I'm every bit as good as the head chef. And it's Lady Pudding. And Sister Chiffon is an expert at chiffon cakes, so the two of us together can make that cake. Oh, is that true, Pudding? But Chiffon is Bedge's wife now. She's on the enemy's side. I have ways of making her listen. Whoa, it's evil Pudding. I know, right? Anyway, wait, what just happened to Lady Pudding? She's all mean.
Everything is evil.
I forget that they don't all know that side of her.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
It's a pretty cool panel with her behind the gun. I like that. Anyway.
I got this.
Remember, I have a gun.
No, you have one way of making her listen. That's about it. So as a matter of fact, the ingredients for the cake were stored at Chocolate Town on Cacao Island in our territory. We have a
Cacao.
We have a backup store of materials. Brother Peros, if Mama wipes out the Straw Hats, guide her to Chocolate Town. I'll calm her down. Is this true? You've saved us, Pudding. Sanji humiliated me. He says, what a beautiful eye. And if she's going to get rid of them for me, then I suppose Mama deserves a reward.
Ah.
I like this Pudding.
Yes.
Yeah, the Pudding that thinks that she's a greater threat than the flying flying nun that's about to eat the Straw Hats.
Alex is an old.
So we turn the page, and it's Nami shouting, "Hurry, everyone! They're going to be chasing after us soon." And Luffy is kind of annoyed at her, saying, "That's easy for you to say. You're just riding on Jinbei's shoulders." And I think this is an amazing image. I love the idea that Jinbei can just be like somebody's transportation. And Sanji is arguing that Nami can get away with it because she looks cute that way. And Carrot laughs, thinking that's funny.
How many characters?
Nami agrees. Yeah,
how many characters have been in this position in the past? We've had Eyelash, the Camel, Zoro.
Yeah.
How many people have Nami ridden?
But it's also like,
whoa, now
Nami shouldn't
no
be
slut
running.
shaming on this podcast, man. Come on now.
Nami
It's like a Karnak thing. Like it's Johnny Carson. He holds an envelope up to his hand. He goes, Scissors, Eyelash, Zoro, King Bomb. Things that Nami has ridden. Yeah, thanks, Ed. They were super funny.
You are correct, sir.
And
get Johnny Carson jokes.
Wild stuff.
Nami is backing up Sanji's argument, saying, yes, I am cute and fragile. Now the quickest route should be straight ahead and through the seducing woods. I don't know who's saying this, but they're complaining that, that forest again. I hope this works out. And Nami is shouting, "Oh, hey, what's that?" And we see our good friend King Baum. And King Baum is shouting, "Yow!" And somebody is with him, asking him if he's all right. And he's saying, "My stitches are acornizing." I guess there is a lady tree that he is responding to. I have to actually zoom in here and see what
named Lady Tree.
You all right, Kingy? Just a tiny lady tree with like a lady tree butt.
You can see her wearing a dress in the panel, the very next panel when they're running on the back of King Bomb. She's wearing like a midnight dress.
And she's assuring him that his stitches will seal up in time. And Nami is very happy to see that King Bomb is alive, as if it's an old friend. But King Bomb is having this moment of realization, like, oh, these guys. And the next panel is they're in mid-chase. Nami, the whole crew are up on top. We see King Bomb's like really gnarly looking stitches. And he's shouting, one day, you won't be a thorn in my side. And he's still shouting in pain, yow! He was split in half before, and now he's trying to hold himself together, and can't imagine that feels too good.
He's the king of bomb style.
Somebody, is this Luffy again? He's asking Nami. Somebody's wondering. Yeah, I think it was Luffy. He's like, I thought they took Lola's Viver card away from you, Nami. And Nami tells us that only one of them. She cut it in two because Viver cards are convenient that way. And even Jinbei is just like, this is much nicer. Because they're moving at a much faster speed, and he doesn't have to be the one running now. Nami says that this is the boss of the seducing woods, so you can take us straight through it. And the tree woman in the tree dress, the sexy tree dress, is going, Kingy. Yeah.
Kingy.
I don't know about you guys.
Kiss now, Kingy.
I don't know about you guys, but that tree lady really gives me wood.
Get out!
No.
And in the bottom panel here, we've got one of the chess pieces on the transponder sail saying, Straw Hat spotted dead ahead. And they see that an enemy has spotted them, and they are now being pursued.
Pursued?
I guess that's a word. It's not a word, but whatever.
Pursuit. They're in pursuit.
Pursued.
The enemies are in pursuit.
I would prefer that they were in pursuit.
You're always pursuing. Just pursue.
You see on the next page some of the chess peacekeepers on the back of chairs and various furniture items going,
I love it.
My targets are now in sight. Take them out. Yeah. And they're running down.
Final act
This
of
is
Beauty
the
and the
throat.
Beast.
Yes, this is the final act of Beauty
Through the
and Beast.
mist, through the woods, through the darkness and the shadows. It's a nightmare, but it's one exciting ride. Hurry, Bomb, if they catch us, then I'll rip out your stitches, your sadistic wedding cake. Oh, that's actually Big Mom saying that. You see, wedding.
And that also doesn't rhyme.
It also doesn't. Hey, you know what? It's fine. It's a Monday at 7 p.m. I'm gonna talk how I want to talk. And we've got Big Mom flying down from the Nimbus/Lakitu cloud, yelling "wedding cake," holding Napoleon in her hand with the sword sticking out of Napoleon, with this bandana and crazy eyes.
She looks badass with the bandana.
She really does.
Mhm.
And King Bomb just looks up in the sky and goes, "What?" And everybody else is sitting on the back of Big Mom and King Bomb, and they're all going, "Big Mom! Big Mom!" As she screams, "Gimme my cake! Ma, 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 ma."
No laughing, actually. No laughing at all.
I'm adding the
You
laughing.
promised me. Have you guys seen
And,
Creepshow?
I'm
I'm
not.
Anyway,
I
My
chapter
cake,
this week.
Bedelia.
is this the first time we've seen the Napoleon as the hilt of her of a
No,
sword?
it's not.
Okay,
No?
it seemed familiar, but I still
think
loved
the
it.
first time we saw it was when they were trying to infiltrate Big Mom's bedroom to get Brooke back, and then Napoleon, Zeus, and Prometheus were all attacking them. And we saw
Yeah,
it in sword form.
Right.
But so, Roger, thoughts on the chapter?
I think I'm going to be the lone wolf this week. I was not a fan of this chapter. Yeah, I mean, I think it was fine, but I think compared to the past 10 or 12, this one kind of just let me down. And I think it was because of, the weird thing with, Nami saying I cut the Vibra card in two, and then, gee, who's going to make the cake for us? I've always been in agreement with Greg's theory that Sanji was going to make a cake at the end to sort of calm down Mama's hunger pangs. I think that's awesome. But them spending half of the chapter being like, oh, Pudding's going to make the cake. And yeah, she's going to get Chiffon to make the cake with her. And it's like, well, where are you going to get Chiffon? Beige ran in the other direction a couple chapters ago. So, it all just seemed a little too convenient for me this chapter. And I did like the art, but, I mean, Oda's been killing it with the art recently. I just feel like this was a mildly above average chapter. I actually think the thing that interested me most of all this week was the cover story with Shanks Territory and Bartolomeo. I want to see what's going to happen next week there. But, I mean, overall, I think we've had better chapters in the past couple weeks. And I did like seeing the Charlotte children sort of planning what to do next with each other. And Yeah, I'm happy Opera's dead too. Hopefully, Opera stays dead though, because like King Bomb was
I don't know.
sliced
It's One
in two.
Piece.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Because King Bomb was sliced in two right before the Luffy and Sanji fight, and now he's stitched back together too. So I half expect to see Opera next chapter being like, "Oh, she only took 5 hours of my lifespan," or something stupid like that.
Well, it's just all a question of like with Moscato. Like, can Big Mom put the souls back in her children?
Yeah.
I don't think she can though, because I think it was clarified that once you take the soul out of a person, you cannot put it back into another person. It
I
has
don't
to
know
go
if
into
they've ever
an
said that.
object.
Yeah.
I think it was very early in this arc, right? That the souls
No.
can only go into inanimate objects and animals.
Isn't this like
Well, yeah,
Rick,
that
Rick and
is
Morty
true,
with
but-
it's like I can't fix dead, so
Yeah, but there is that one scene where Montdor was telling Mom's like soul cronies to like, make sure not to leave out a single minute or whatever, and we still haven't gotten like a follow up on that. So
Yeah.
that's true.
I'm sure there's a way of giving back lifespan. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. I mean, I loved the arc this week, but I had more fun reading it with you guys than I did reading it myself.
All right, Sam, what do you think?
I thought it was decent. It's we're kind of transitioning into whatever like kind of the finale is. So it's I'm sure the biggest stuff is in the next couple chapters. I think I agree with Roger that the cover page is probably actually my favorite part. Like I'm excited to see where that is going. And I like seeing Evil Pudding back. I like trying to figure out how all these moving pieces are going to work, because they clearly need, like, even if Sanji's the one who's going to do it, they need to go back to Capone and get Chiffon clearly, or in theory, I guess. But I think that's what they're going for. And right now, I'm just kind of left wondering what the end of this arc is supposed to look like. Like, I think this arc has like one of the strongest middles we've ever seen in a One Piece arc. But like, I'm a guy who likes a great ending, and I'm like wondering what kind of ending we're looking for here.
So I want to throw, while you said that, I want to throw a little mini theory out there. Because I do agree that with Greg that Sanji's somehow going to make the wedding cake. I think when Big Mom eats Sanji's replacement wedding cake and she comes to, she's going to remember that Parasparrow told her that they stole a spare cake, and will realize that, no, Sanji actually just baked this cake. She'll know Parasparrow's lying. And then Pudding's whole thing at the end of this will be that she replaces the memory of Sanji making her the cake to Pudding making her the cake. That's my guess.
Thinking too much about Pudding's memory powers. I don't want to think about them that much.
That we haven't seen since.
Right,
Actually,
and also Big Mom is more coherent in her state this chapter than she was way back when.
During Crocobush
definitely.
time. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
She can be understood. She can understand and talk. Sentences.
Sam, that's also an excellent point you brought up. I kind of forgot that. Yeah, probably like the weakest point in most One Piece arcs is the middle. And
because I've been comparing this arc to like Thriller Bark in my mind. Like, there's a lot of comparisons to be made, but Thriller Bark has like notably like kind of a more tiresome middle,
Yeah.
and a great ending.
Yeah.
indeed.
Mm-hmm. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a fine chapter. Even for like a transition chapter, there was still a lot of meat in there. I like that they addressed that Streusen is down for the count. Wasn't
able to save himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We get Evil Pudding back, which is great. And she's fairly confident that she can bake a cake as well. So I'm wondering what the deal is there. Big Mom flying on Zeus is amazing. That is supremely terrifying to me.
Mm-hmm. She is very terrifying in this chapter, and I think the reason why they take it slow in the first few pages is that so she can appear out of the background, doing, interrupting their polite conversation.
Yes. So I'm just excited for the climax of this arc, because we haven't seen the climax yet. And let me tell you, I really want to see the other group, the other Big Mom assault group on Germa. I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see more of Germa.
Because it seems like there's nobody we've heard of who's attacking Germa currently, because they're all in this conversation right here.
Yeah. So I think this is the end of Act 2 maybe, or no, not really. I don't know. Like, this is still third act stuff, but I think we're about to reach the climax of the entire arc pretty soon, and there's still a lot loose threads here. Like, so where they are right now, with King Bomb, that means Pound is probably pretty close by, right?
Sure.
Like I'd like to see a wrap up to that little arc with Chiffon and Pound. Not to mention Pudding's that weird flashback that Pudding had where she was talking to Lola. There's still something there about like the Loki marriage that I think is a little fishy. Pudding's memory powers have to come back in some way, shape, or form, and she has to have fucked with Big Mom's memory at some point. Otherwise, why would I don't see why she would feel like she has the upper hand all the time.
Right. And Steve, what were your thoughts? Final thoughts?
It was a fine chapter. I think it had a lot of. We got to spend a little time with the Lin Lin family. Kind of just not necessarily, give them character development or flesh them out, but just see them just interact with each other, just be like people, So they're not just wacky character designs that fight the Straw Hats briefly.
Well, there's a giant chicken man.
What his name's not
Niwatori now. He's Niwatori.
Niwatori?
Mm-hmm.
I love your Niwatori. So great to hear it live.
It's interesting that he talks to them like an equal, like he's an equal to one of the children.
Yeah. Yeah, and we kind of forgot about him too, and I think you guys brought it up on the podcast, like, oh,
because he's a knight.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a knight. Yeah.
I'm also kind of surprised that we saw Peckham's again this chapter.
Every
time we saw him, he was tied up, and then out of nowhere, he's just like, "Oh, I'm back, and I'm on the side of Big Mom." It's like, what? You were helping the Straw Hats this entire arc. Why are you on her side now? It's like,
well,
because
his loyalty's always been to Big Mom, and Capone shot up.
That's true.
Turns out he was right about Capone.
Yeah.
Peckham's gonna rub that one in.
I like Mom being. I like the Hunger Pangs Mom. She's nutty. A lot of great panels with contrast and the Dark Shadows. I like the nod to Journey to the West and Dragon Ball with Zeus becoming Quintone. And the King Bomb bit was great too with Nami. It's a really good gag of her being all teary-eyed, saying like, "Oh, you're still alive," and then it cuts to, of course, King Bomb just being, abused, used to just escape through the woods. Nami doesn't really care about him personally.
He just found his girlfriend too.
He's trying to Mac.
Yeah.
It was the return of the Mac, and then it was cut short. And then, of course, I just like seeing this last big panel of Big Mom coming down like at a 90-degree angle with her Napoleon sword ready to strike. It's great. I still, we know the Straw Hats are escaping, but we still don't quite know how. So I can't say that this arc has been predictable. It's been a nutty ride. I'm still enjoying it. There's no such thing as Whole Cake Island fatigue.
No, not at all. Big Mom is terrifying. She's the best part about this chapter, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but there really isn't much else to say except for I'm curious about like Pudding, where she goes from here, because she got the thing of like feeling that Sanji humiliated her by saying that her eye was beautiful, and I think people had qualms about that scene when it happened, like, and maybe that's what it was. She wasn't actually like feeling love or affection towards Sanji. She was feeling like she was put on the spot for something that she's always been like taunted about and teased about. So she actually felt like it was humiliating for her to have that pointed out, which is interesting considering how like evil and serious she takes herself, that she's able to be embarrassed like that. But it's interesting. So I'm kind of curious to see where it goes from here. What did you guys think about Pudding in particular? Anyone?
Yeah, we'll see.
There's the possibility of not being great.
Because we always thought, oh, Pudding is pretty evil. She's nasty. And then all it takes is Sanji to be like, oh, I like your hair. And she'll be like, oh, damn you. So I'll wait and see how things go.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that she's still, she's not like,
She's
I've been
incapacitated from a look.
She didn't pull like a Hancock here,
Yeah.
where she just completely 180'd in her personality. But I have hope, but I'm gonna wait and see where this arc goes before I'll make my judgment of, oh wow, I love what he's done with Pudding, because it's still up in the air in my opinion.
All right. Anyone else have final thoughts? All right. Well, let's move right into the anime recap.
This is the anime recap for episode 798, An Enemy Worth 800 Million, Luffy vs. Thousand Armed Cracker. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have, once again, Ed.
Hello!
How's it going, Ed?
Oh, it's going all right. This is a decent episode of One Piece. Well, the half of it that I remembered.
I mean, it was definitely a step up from the week before, which is just like, oh, please, just move on.
Well, this is mostly because Yaruj was in it.
The
best part of the episode.
The screenplay this week is by Tomohiro Nakayama. The episode director and storyboard artist is Yoshihiro Ueda, and animation director is Toshio Deguchi. And as far as what content gets covered, we've got the last 2 pages of chapter 836 and the first 12 pages of 837. So it's still a little bit less than a chapter there. Title card begins at 5 minutes and 54 seconds, which was a pretty long one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, maybe that's why I don't remember the first half of this episode, because I skipped like 5 minutes.
Well, the first half is the recap.
The first half is mostly recap.
So the episode begins with Luffy fighting Cracker. He goes right into his Gum Gum Red Hawk, which we have only seen him use a couple times.
I think he started using it on Dressrosa, didn't he? Or maybe on Punk Hazard.
First time he used it was Fishman Island. It was like a big classic. It was like a big classic hit.
Oh man, Fishman Island.
So Cracker attacks back, but now he has Luffy discovers that Cracker has 2 arms on one side, basically.
This goes on for a while.
Right. So Cracker attacks. And it's weird because like he's gaining arms like in between the cuts, so that like the audience is kind of really disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of really
like a pop-up like sound effect though.
Yeah. He knocks Luffy away. There's this weird like fade to black for some reason as we cut over to Nami's side of the event, where Nami and Pound are hanging out, like not even that far away. But for some reason there's a fade out. She's reacting to the realization that she's holding a Big Mom's Fever card, which is pretty interesting. And then
there's some good Nami faces in this episode. Yeah.
And Luffy comes flying into view, and Cracker arrives. So now everyone's back together. They were split up for like 5 seconds, but now they're all in one group. Cracker introduces himself as the Biscuit Knight, also known as Thousand Armed Cracker. And he tells us that if he taps his arm once, it becomes 2 arms. And if he kind of keeps going, he's got 3 arms on each side, 2 or 3 legs on each side. You see the big title card. He's Thousand Armed Cracker, one of the Sweet 3 Generals, bounty 860 million berries, which is a pretty big number.
And there's some good little fighting scenes between him and Cracker, but between Luffy and Cracker. But I don't know. It's very middle of the road animation on this one, so it wasn't like didn't make it feel special or anything.
Right. Nami is telling Luffy, reminding him not to go all out, reminding him that their goal is not to pick a fight, but to go and get Sanji and leave. And Cracker is talking up his prized sword, quote unquote, pretzel. He says it's the only one in the world, as we see him clearly holding 6 because he copied his arm, so the sword goes with it. And Nami points this out, and Cracker he's kind of pissed off. He's like, "What? Don't just let me have this."
Yeah, I mean, but Luffy does say, like, when Nami says, we're trying to get Sanji, we're not trying to do this, but he says, I only know one way to fight. And so that's a very Luffy moment.
Yeah. Luffy goes gear 3rd, really, kicking the fight up an extra notch. We've seen him go gear 2nd. We've seen him go gear 3rd. Maybe in this fight we'll see him go gear 4th.
Maybe.
The next episode preview says yes. So Cracker uses his sword Pretzel, and he stabs Luffy, but Luffy thankfully turns on his hockey abs. There's a scene with Brule and Nami, and Brule is taunting them as villains do, and she's saying that other famous rookies have come into Big Mom's domain over the years, including Eustace Kid, Scratchman Apu, Bej Capone, and a certain guy named Uruge. I thought it was kind of funny that like Brule is basically bragging like how impenetrable their defenses are, but then she's like, "Oh, but Bej turned out to be okay, and Uruge took out one of our guys."
Yeah, the Rouge scene was actually like, I really enjoyed that compared to.
Yeah, we get this little implied filler flashback where
it does kind of make
Cracker...
Rouge out to be kind of a chump because it does look like he gets beaten relatively easily, but like, but maybe not that it's like too easy, but that he wasn't like doing something awesome and spectacular to beat Rouge. He was just sort of giving him like the usual attack, and then that took him out. But I still like.
But also,
like
Rouge was probably tired out from taking out the one of the Sweet Four. They used to be the Sweet Four, now they're the Sweet Three. Mm-hmm. So Cracker, it's cool that it's not Rouge on Whole Cake Island. Like Cracker actually went out to sea to take out Rouge, which is interesting.
Right.
I mean, it's all filler, so take it with a grain of salt. But it's interesting. It's something.
And you didn't mention this, but we're well past the eye catcher at this point.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of breezing through this. This recap.
But that just shows what the pace of things is going.
I mean, it's mostly a fighting episode.
Mm-hmm. And it's that feeling out fighting, which they don't put more. They put more money into the end of fights than they do the beginning of them. And
right.
It wasn't. It's not supposed to be like super good, I guess.
Right. So Brule is confronting. The last end of this. The last half of this episode is mostly Nami and Brule. Brule drops this mirror to distract Nami, and then Nami looks up and Brule is gone. And it turns out she's actually already in the mirror, and she's like coming out like a creepy monster and like grabbing Nami by the legs and like trying to pull her in. And it's like kind of creepy and scary.
It's very Japanese. It's very The Ring.
Yeah. Nami's like trying to grab her climate tech, but it's just out of reach. She's crying for Pound to help, and Pound finally builds up the courage to fight back, and he knocks Brule away, helping Nami out. Brule taunts
looks like he's going bowling.
Pound by telling him that, now Pound has to live with the fact that he's basically just committed treason. Before they were just kind of letting him hang out in the woods, but now he is an enemy of Big Mom. But while we're distracted by Pound and Brule, we find out that Nami's been setting up her Thunderbolt tempo, and she easily defeats Brule.
For
now. And so now Nami is able to threaten the homies with her Viver card. They're all just terrified of the power of Big Mom's soul that exists within this little piece of paper. She makes like the goofy face as she knows that she's got this really important thing that's going to give her an advantage in this fight.
That was the face that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the episode finishes up with the continuation of Luffy versus Cracker, and it ends in the middle of a big gum jet Gatling. Right. Any general thoughts on the episode?
Pleasant enough to watch. It's like a cool. It's like a warm breeze.
Yeah. I definitely liked it more than last week's. I'm okay with the slow fight episode as long as it's like kind of leading me right. And I'm excited to see like year 4 next week. I actually based on what I know from the manga, like I really kind of like the momentum and rhythm of this fight in general. Like I like how it ends. I like how it kind of builds this really kind of interesting scenario.
Mm-hmm. Pound is such a ridiculous character, though, and he looks even more ridiculous in color.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't help.
Anything else you want to say, or are we ready to move on to the next segment already?
Oh, let's do it. Let's get into some piece together.
Yeah, nice and easy. That was a quick one.
Welcome to the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, theories, and we answer them with attitude of the French. Anyway, we're starting off this week with our newest Piece Together segment, This Piece. So anyway, Sam, take it away.
Yes, we've got like just 3 of them, so it should be fairly smooth. The first one is by Friend Frog, who asks, "What story arc would you like to cameo in when the live action show happens?"
Jeez.
Any of them?
I know. I think
if there's any arc that would be like close to your heart, that would feel that you would like more, or actually no, even more fun. Like, what kind of background cronies would you want to be?
I want to be in the crowd at Logtown. Like when
No,
Luffy
this
escapes.
is easy answer for me. Sorry to cut you off, Ed. He said Logtown when Luffy escapes. Me, I'll volunteer myself and Alex, Ed, Zach, Jose, even Jammer as Satan worshippers.
Of course.
in
Providing.
in the 8th season of the TV show when we get to the Straw Hat separation.
Providing they adapt that bit.
Of course.
I would just like to be one of the pirates in the village, in Fuchsia Village, like when Shanks first shows up with Lucky Roo.
What Roger is saying is he'd like to be one of the Shanks pirates.
Yeah.
The red hair pirates.
I would be
Right.
stuck to a wall and impelled down.
I could be tortured by Sadie Chan. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I don't care
in
where.
the Velcro wall level of the Discovery Zone impelled down.
That is the third time in the past, I think, 3 weeks of the podcast that Discovery Zone has been referenced.
Because I can't let go of my childhood. That's why.
Level 5 ball pit hell.
And then our next disc piece, this one's a comment. It's our good friend Joe saying a few weeks ago when Jinbei...
Hello, Joe.
A few weeks ago, when Jinbei washed away Katakuri's power to save Luffy, Steven mentioned that old people sometimes choke on the mochi and die. Recently, while reading through the series, I saw the exact thing happened to the old professor during chapters 450 through 452 in Eneru's Great Space Mission.
Oh my God,
and she
you're right.
provides the pictures as the old man from the Eneru cover story dying, choking on mochi.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good, actually. That's
Yeah.
Good observation.
yeah, cool. Thank you.
And then our last disc piece comment is from Straw Hat Pirate 9, who says, Bartolomeo meeting Shanks? Yes. Shanks needs to see Bartolomeo's boat, and I just want Shanks to have each of his crew buy and wear all those Straw Hat pins and stickers. LOL.
No, Shanks will probably say, "Oh, but if I wear these stickers and pins, it would break our promise, wouldn't it, Luffy?"
Shanks
wear
would
these pins and
disapprove of the bootleg nature. He'd say like, you gotta buy from the official release.
It's also like you don't want to be the guy wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see. Don't be that guy.
Really? That's frowned upon.
It's a line from PCU. It's a bad movie. Anyway, is that it for this piece?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We got some emails, don't we?
Email.
Email.
Our first one is from Connor Merritt. It says, "Connor here. Love the show and the people on it."
Thank you.
But he's about to fire some shots.
Oh, no.
Who would you cast for roles in a One Piece Hollywood adaptation and why? I asked this question 2 years ago, and you guys shrugged it off without answering. You, Steve, said a live-action Hollywood adaptation would never happen, and thus didn't need to think about the question. But a Hollywood TV series is happening, and now I pose the question again. Who would you cast in a live-action adaptation? Thank you, and keep up the great work.
Okay, well,
you know what they say about never.
He
Never
deserves
say
this.
never
He deserves
again.
this.
Sean Connery and Kim Basinger. Moving on.
well, I in lieu of answering that to its fullest, I think I'd like to unveil my ultimate plan for this podcast. Not ultimate plan, but now that there's a live action series of One Piece, there's a segment that we're going to be doing that I'd like to call Castaway, and I think this would be a great first run at that. So let's try to. I don't know. I feel like this could be interesting discussion. We'll figure out music at some point, but this is just a dry run. So for me, I think that they should cast some unknowns as the Straw Hat Pirates, some up and coming talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I can't guess these things.
Nobody can
The
get.
only-
It's not like not we're trying to play a guessing game. It's like, who do you think could pull this off?
The
Now,
only character I'm thinking of the Straw Hats that I have immediately a name in mind for would be Usopp, and I would love to see Donald Glover pull off Usopp. I think
Oh,
he would do a
man.
really good job.
Isn't Donald Glover like 40?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
You're thinking of Danny Glover.
Danny Glover's like
Oh,
70.
Danny Glover's 70.
Well, that's good for his age.
And I do like the prospect of perhaps getting Mads Mikkelsen to play Crocodile.
Yeah, I'm in that boat with you.
Ooh, that
Greg
sounds good.
disagrees with me, but I
We'd
think
have
that
more fun
Well, he was
casting
John Travolta.
Yeah, we'd
John
have,
Travolta.
we'd have more
Yeah,
fun
I don't
casting
know.
the villains than the Straw Hats, because the Straw Hats, by definition, kind of have to be young characters. I don't really know
Right.
any like age appropriate actors to to cast. Like I'm so far out of touch with like the entertainment world that I probably couldn't even like draw up a fantasy cast.
Yeah.
Well, if
so-
they want to,
As
if they want to
Tommy.
bring in a big name for this, they could easily bring in Eminem for the Skypia arc to be Eneru, because that's who he was designed after anyway.
He's not
Oh,
even
man.
he's not even bleach blonde anymore.
It's weird looking.
No, now he's just old.
Yeah.
But no, listeners, send us your since we're old and out of touch. Why don't you send us suggestions as to who should play the Straw Hat Pirates? I'd be curious to know.
And we'll judge you. I mean them.
Because I'll be honest, I don't know, and I don't really care to know about up and coming actors right now. I just
Yeah.
basically, see a thing, and then I'm like, wow, that kid's got moxie. He knows what's on the up and up. So that's the only litmus that I have for such a thing.
Thank
So
you.
send us your things.
So thank you for your question, and in the future, I would say that we won't be as dismissive of questions like that, but I am not a liar, so I won't say it.
Well, we did also say a time skip wouldn't have happened. So,
Did you really?
Yeah, we
Oh,
said
great.
a lot
Now-
of things.
well, now I guess it's up to the listeners to go back, support us on Patreon, and listen to old episodes and see what we said what wouldn't happen, and now count down the days till that actually does happen.
Yeah.
We can't
It's like
all be
Usopp's
Greg.
lies. We're like Usopp's lies. Everything that we say comes true.
It's a win-win situation though, because if people go back to listen to old episodes, they're giving you money via Patreon to do that,
Exactly.
and so you're still getting money. So it's great. It's good.
Money is as money does.
Exactly.
Forrest Gump.
Steve, next email.
Our next email is from Ghost Starch, and he has a Weevil theory. Hang on, guys. This is a big one.
Okay.
AOPP, I have a theory regarding Edward Weevil. We know that Judge was part of a research team together with Vegapunk. Later, he was able to use the knowledge to create the Germa army. What if Miss Bucking was part of that research team? If she worked with Judge, then she would have had the same knowledge of cloning that is applied to creating the Dude Bros. She could have stolen Whitebeard's DNA, maybe from his grave, mixed it with hers, and thus was able to create Weevil.
In 2 years?
Since the-
She grew that in 2 years?
Since the Dude Bros take 5 years to mature, she would have accelerated the process to a few months at the cost of Weevil having low intelligence, but have Whitebeard's strength. This could explain why she claims to have had a child with Whitebeard, since it's somehow true. Fun fact, she and Judge both have a fixation on money.
She is, this is
Oh.
oddly enough like the most plausible situation for this to happen that we've heard so far.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know what?
Well,
You know
for
who else has a
starters,
fixation with money? Nami. So maybe Nami's related to Judge too.
People can't just have lots of scars anymore.
wasn't Weevil in Impel Down?
What?
There's no mention of that.
I
don't
do
think.
not remember Weevil being an Impel Down.
I thought, okay, this is me mistaking things. I thought one of the big criminals that escaped from Impel Down was named Warlord. Now that I say that out loud, it really makes no sense.
Buggy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, I guess.
Bucky-
Oh, yeah. I guess
yeah.
that could be Buggy. My mistake.
All right, what's the next email?
And this one's from Brandon Miller, and it's a Kaido-related theory I heard on a Roger Base live stream. Good thing we have a Roger Base here today.
There you go. The
Let's
Roger
discuss this.
base.
And he says, "Greetings, One Piece podcast. This might turn out to be irrelevant because you might know about it already, but on a recent Roger's Base live stream, Roger, maybe you know about this already. There was a fan who typed in a theory about Kaido. Basically, this theory came up with the notion that Kaido is a bit like Chopper, an animal that ate a human-related devil fruit that went on." And the fan went on to theorize that maybe Kaido might originally be a large sea king, and that's why he doesn't try to drown himself. Anyway, I just want to spread the word about this theory because I thought this was really good. Thank you. Bye. I could have swore I heard you guys talking about this on a previous episode. Not necessarily a sea king.
Wouldn't a fish that eats a devil fruit still drown?
Well,
I mean, it would just like get paralyzed, wouldn't it?
Jack.
Yeah. No, the thing I brought up on a previous episode was that I still strongly believe this. I feel that Kaido is a dragon who ate an oni fruit. I don't necessarily think he's a sea king, but I think a dragon is more plausible because right now the two big theories are that he has some type of like demon or oni fruit based on his appearance, or he has some type of dragon fruit, and that's sort of the one thing that could work within the story where he could have both of them. And I mean, there's been so many like pieces of evidence in both directions that I feel like that's probably the way to go if he is some type of animal who's eaten a fruit. But I think the Sea King idea is also cool, and that would sort of make him invincible because if he fell in water, he couldn't drown.
Also, Sam, how does a fish drown?
Hey Sam, if somebody chops down a tree in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a noise?
It does. I won't indulge that one.
Okay.
Sam,
you just had a sore spot,
no one's
Alex.
around to smell that shit. Did it shit?
Were there any more emails, Steve?
That's going to be it for emails.
Okay.
Great.
Let's do some Reddit.
All right, let us do some Reddit. Yo, OPP raps. This is from Mr. Fiendish.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Streets Inspire makes objects an edible food, but it tastes terrible. My work, so if he turns a piece of wood into a sausage, the sausage tastes like wood. But if he actually takes edible objects and transforms them into other food, they would taste like the original ingredient. For example, maybe he takes a pile of lemons, turns it into frosting, and makes some awesome lemon flavored frosting. That's probably why they needed the legendary ingredients from other islands. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
It makes me really hungry. I'm going to go to the next question.
We call him Harvard
is-
grad.
Yeah, Harvard grad. Yeah, thank you. What color do you think fake news Morgans feathers will be?
Well, it was Abelardo was green, right?
I really want him to be green.
Although
I
I do like
actually really want to be green too.
the
I
Prince
think
of
he's gonna-
Assassins yellow suggestion for yellow journalism, which I like that for the poetic nature.
That's
It's too
cute,
close
yeah.
to Big Bird, though. It's
Mm.
too
It's
close.
very close to Big Bird. I like white, or like a gray, like he's a giant seagull.
Whenever
That's-
there's an ambiguous color, I always assume that it's like a pale yellow, and it never is.
If he's pink, is he related to Bonnie?
No, he's related to Miss Bucking.
He's related to Pound.
Yeah, everybody's related to Pound. Nobody likes Millhouse. For last week's, this is the one from Words Dear. For last week's color spread, what would their code names be? Example, would Chopper, what would he be? Like how Reiju is poison pink.
Mm.
So this is the color spread where they're all in Germa suits.
I mean, all the
Asiatic
Germa people,
pink.
it's not all alliteration, right?
No,
Nope.
Winch
Sparkling
green.
red.
No.
Sparking red. Yeah.
Even yeah. Well, it'd be obviously
more fun.
rubber red.
I like
Yeah.
for Chopper.
Oh, I like
mean,
rubber red.
I like meat
Rubber
red.
red is good. I don't know. For Chopper, that's difficult.
Chopper would be I don't know, like Sakura pink.
Cute
Sakura
pink.
pink.
It's just cute pink. Orange. I don't know. Money orange. God, I'm bad at this.
Sword green. Rope-
Cooking
robot
blonde.
Cola. I like cola blue for Frankie.
Cowardly yellow.
Pepsi. It's like that. He's a giant bottle of Pepsi Blue.
No,
Yeah,
I got one up on that one, Steve. Piss yellow.
Okay.
Okay. We have fun. Fried. Says, hey, OPP Ursins of Interest. Do you think Smoothie will have a larger role in the arc moving forward? She's been set up as a force to be reckoned with it, but at this point in the arc, I'm not sure. There's many opportunities left to flex her muscles. If she doesn't throw anything down during Whole Cake Island, I'll be massively disappointed. It's weird to complain about it and not giving female characters badass parts while Big Mom's on the loose, but it still comes to mind. I agree.
I think it shows like how much Big Mom like lords over her family. She's just that much stronger than everyone. It's kind of why she's an emperor, really. Like all of her children are overshadowed by her. I think is kind of the point.
I do understand where he's coming from though too, because I even thought this during this week's chapter. We saw Compote for the first time in like forever, and she has still not really done anything despite being hyped up as like this really amazing fighter character all the way back when Beige was first laying out the plans. So yeah, it does seem weird to me that like, of course, Big Mom is the main villain and she's, showing she's extraordinarily powerful, but the kids who have really been putting in the work are like Katakuri and Daifuku, and they're the men. Even though at that one point with Pudding, where she tries to make things better, Daifuku, I think it was Daifuku, slaps her and throws her to the side. And he's like, oh, get out of here. You didn't do this correctly. So it is weird to me. It's
your kids, Mama. Something's got to be done about your kids.
Why they become assholes or something? All right. Book is cool. Asks, it seems like the remaining antagonist for the series.
Books is cool.
Books is cool.
That's the name.
Yeah, actually.
Books is the new Straw Hat that's joining. It seems that the remaining antagonists for the series are Kaido, Big Mom, Blackbeard, and the World Government. Do you think the crew will face any other crews that we haven't heard of yet, or have we passed the point in the series where new antagonists / arcs are coming in? Potentially. I mean,
as far as opponents, I don't really think so.
Because I don't really love the idea that we're like that they've just like laid out and told us where all the islands left are and what all the big boss enemies are.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't think there's going to be new enemies. Like I'm not saying there's not going to be any new characters.
Well, I mean, all the enemies are going to be like at least tied into the emperors, right? They're going to be
That's what I was
works
thinking,
for an
right?
emperor,
Like,
or it's going to be another. It's going to be another rookie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Weevil isn't really tied in with any of those characters, and I feel like he's going to come up as a threat at some point.
But he's already been introduced, I think, is what this is referring to.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. Okay, here's an interesting one. Endangered Big Cats says, hey y'all, what's your favorite One Piece gag nobody ever mentions? And his example was when Sanji is fighting Mr. 2 Bon Clay, and when Bon Clay turns into Nami, Sanji has like a heart eye, and he uses his Okama chop on Sanji's eye, and it literally hurts Sanji's eye.
I thought he was going to talk about when Mr. 2 hurts his own feelings.
Well, yeah, that's a fun gag too. But he says, I love the way Sanji's pain isn't even framed as a joke. It kills me every time. Yeah, that's a good one. That nobody ever mentions.
Oh, Frankie with the drinks at Annie's lobby is the one that I remember for a long time. People don't always talk about that too much. I don't think people talk about gags as much anymore, like on like recurring gags. But maybe we just haven't focused on it enough.
The two Usopp gags from Drum Island. One when he after the avalanche and all that's sticking out of the snow is his nose, and then when immediately after when Vivi tries to wake him up by smacking him, and then his face gets swollen and looks like he got stung by a million bees, and then no one can recognize him right away until they see his nose. That always gets a good laugh out of me.
I like and this always cracks me up every single time I get to this part. But when they're in the rain dinners in the cage, Luffy like, come at me, you banana, and Usopp has to explain to him that it's not a crocodile growing from a banana, it's vice versa, and he has to explain to him, oh, you see,
banana.
Yeah, it's this thing called the monkey dance.
Another good Usopp bit is characters getting him and Kaku mixed up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, another good Usopp bit. I'm sorry.
He's just got the best
Jaya when they go to Cricket's house and Nami reads through the Nolan book, and after says, and then he, and then he was killed.
He never became a brave warrior of the sea.
And they all just look at Usopp, and I think, or Luffy looks at Usopp, and Usopp's like, "It's not me." That is another great bit.
Or when what was another one from Jaya where Zoro, the Southward couldn't lead Zoro south?
Oh, so good.
That was in Skypiea, I think.
Oh, it was after
Maybe
they'd
it's the
gone
giant
up.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
I still love. I mean, it's not really something that nobody ever mentions, but I still love Ryunosuke at the beginning of Zoe. Like I think I rewatch that scene the way the anime did that scene maybe once or twice a month. I really liked the way they did that with Ryunosuke's face in the sky and all of them crying, Ryunosuke! We
Right.
love you,
like
Ryunosuke!"
text. Isn't there like text on the screen? Like
Yeah. The little poem that goes right down. It's so good.
Cool.
Okay. So Fierce Alchemist says, "Hey OPP, seems more and more likely that Greg's theory is right and Sanji will help bake the cake to calm Big Mom. My personal theory is that when the Straw Hats find themselves surrounded at sea, Jinbei's crew will return to save them. They're a plot thread that's still somewhat open. I think Oda could use them to bail the Straw Hats out of a crisis. What do you think?"
Interesting theory. Because he's right; they are an unresolved plot thread. Do we really think that, the Jinbei Sun Pirates just left?
Well, Jinbei told them to get the heck out of Dodge, but I mean, they could probably help in a pinch. I don't know. That's difficult to say.
Yep.
I'm not gonna completely, take crap on the idea. It's pretty good. Joe 3man _ says an optimistic take on live action One Piece. There we go. The live action movie of Aragon, widely regarded as the worst book adaptation ever made, may be a steaming pile of hot garbage, but without that movie and Hollywood video, I never would have read the series. So even if this adaptation sucks, it will bring, without fail, new fans to the series who will only be able to complain about the horrible adaptation because it introduced them to the real deal.
Got a Stan Lee fan over here. Every One Piece is somebody's first One Piece.
Prince of Assassins. Hey, OPP. What do you guys think are the things that the live adaptation will have the easiest and hardest times translating? The one thing I'm most worried about is how they'll strike the balance of humor and action, since a lot of One Piece's humor is slapstick. Likewise, I think with good direction, a lot of the emotional scenes can be done well.
I'm really
One
excited
Piece
just
is-
to see the
Go ahead.
the live action pirate stuff. Like just make it look really cool. Like I can very vividly imagine that like opening Gold Roger scene, right? Like it's an easy thing to imagine them really doing beautifully.
The thing I'm most concerned about is like Oda's faces for characters, like the real emotion that you see on like Luffy's face when he's crying and there's snot everywhere, or like Enaru's shocked face when he sees Luffy is invulnerable to the lightning. Like those are the kind of moments that I'm most concerned about. But yeah, in terms of like what you just said, Sam, I think the pirate battles will look cool. I actually think the fishmen will translate really well to live action. I think they could do some really cool things with the fishmen to make them look neat.
I'm not as worried at all, really. Simply put, since it's a live action adaptation, you can take a lot of creative liberties. I fully expect not to see the Enru face because you can't really translate something like that so much. Like all the face faults, there are some things that really can't be translated from a comic, and nor should they. Yeah. But as long as the story and heart are there, I think that's what I'm the most concerned about. Like, will this get the core idea of One Piece to watchers? Anybody else have any say there? Okay. This is someone named Renaissance Dragon. Hey guys, new listener here. Anyway, Fairy Tail ended last week. Wow, that's news to me. And as a fan of shonen, I can't help but feel when a war arc is the last arc, they are all the worst arc of the series. See Naruto and Bleach. I can't think of a series that ended with a war arc right, to be honest. How do you think Oda will avoid the pacing nightmares of other series when it comes to giving the crewmates final fights and keeping things lively?
Didn't One Piece basically start the trend of war arcs? Like Marineford is a great war arc.
It is. Marineford's great.
It's true.
When did the stuff in Bleach happen? I don't
know. I mean, I imagine also, it was after 2010 because I remember we did that April Fool's Bleach review chapter that I found.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Fullmetal Alchemist ended with a war arc, and that was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
Yeah, like that was the entire climax. Is a giant war, and it was fantastic.
Fucking awesome.
So
So the secret is to tell a good story.
yeah,
Pretty much.
It's always the secret, isn't it?
exactly. Like Oda already has the ending to One Piece planned out. We all know this, so it's just a matter of sticking that landing.
It's like when people try to I thought about this when I was reading the one shot. It's like people like Michael Jordan or people who can't help but be the best at what they do. So you just kind of expect them to always win and always always manage to do the right thing. But other people you can't really trust to have that kind of power. So it's just like I trust Oda enough to sort of let him go with it.
So is like Oda gonna send in his like transcript to like his editor and just be like Jordan, and Zo's gonna be like, I love it.
That's right.
All right, and one last one from Trimirian. Hey OPP, love the newest chapter. It's filled with such a great sense of threat. Big Mom jumping on Zeus and flying. That was it. I knew everyone on the island is fucked if they don't get that imaginary cake. I equally loved the pudding scene. Not only did she step up to play a big role, she also ties Chiffon into it, which means getting Beige involved, who is in the best position right now, as he is in the lowest on Big Mom's hit list, and it's in his interest to let her rage on and take out the entire island and crew. What do you think will come of all of that?
God, I really don't know where this is going. I really don't. I'm kind of okay with that.
That's when I'm the most okay with One Piece, when you don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys make a cake as a lie joke yet? Have we done that yet?
I was thinking that earlier
God.
this podcast. I was like, we should not go there, but I'm surprised that we have not gone there.
Oh,
Well-
Us gamers, right? Us gamers.
I'm impressed with our
Wink,
self-restraint. Let's all congratulate ourselves several times over.
What are you
Yep.
talking about? Someone
Well, hey,
definitely made it. I
the
think
arc's
Ed
not
made
over.
a
We
cake
can
as
still
a
screw it
live
up.
joke, like
Not this week,
weeks
though.
ago. Not this week.
Oh yeah, hey Ed, I think it's time for a particular thing.
Preach
time is
the tweet. Yeah. I jumped all over that one. I'm so excited. But we got some good piece to tweet this week. First one comes from Martin Linvid, who says, out of nowhere, Theory Pound will reunite with Big Mom, and they will be a couple like the Big Heads from Rocco's Modern Life.
Pound.
That was Marge.
Yeah.
Marge, what are you doing over there?
We can't do that impression right now. Okay. I gotta read. All right. Some guy named Mo says, I finally got my mom into One Piece. To celebrate, I want to know who your favorite female character is. Mine is Tashigi. That's actually a good choice.
Yeah. I like this question. My favorite female character is probably Hina.
Mm.
Good choice. I like Koala.
I like Dadan.
I like Robin. Like I love how Robin, you go through that kind of arc with her where after Enies Lobby, you like actively see her being like happier and more comfortable with the crew. And I think that's just like the most awesome thing.
I was gonna say Robin or Nami. I guess that's too obvious, so I should pick an obscure female character.
Negi
Nojiko
Kumamori.
is great.
Nojiko
is great.
That's true. Neki Kuma Maria is also great.
Oh, she's an answer to a trivia question.
Next one comes from Eric Morita1, who says, so it's confirmed Big Mom and Zoro were related, right? I mean, they both use sword style and a bandana on their head when they're serious.
Oh boy.
Accurate. Next question.
I wasn't gonna make a YouTube video tonight, but I'm gonna have to make a YouTube video.
All right. Andrew Peterson says, if the Funimation voice actors were cast to play their respective characters in the live-action show, would that be good or bad? Have you ever met any of them?
Andrew, do you
Half
know
of them
what
are women.
they look like? No, to be dead honest.
Most of them are in their 40s.
I don't know. I think Brina could do mocap for Chopper.
I was just gonna say
Mocap.
Brino would actually be really funny for Charmer.
Yeah.
Ian could easily be Brooke.
Again, mocap. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
And you know what? Just dress up Sabbath as Zorro. Go on. Dye his beard green. There you go.
Pongzilla asks, are we to assume if Big Mom were to eat another devil fruit user, it would be the same as eating a second devil fruit? Well, based on how the first one worked, it kind of have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, I think you answered your own question there. Next one comes from our very own Jill. It says, since the One Piece podcast April Fool's jokes are now eerily coming true, what joke have you made that you would actually like to be part of the canon?
Alex, I remember your response to one of her tweets. It's kind of my sentiments. Actually, no, it's not. I don't know. I think Alex joked, because I think Jill tweeted, it's like, all our April Fool's gags are coming true now. And Alex said, oh, so are we doing a Simpsons podcast? Should be funny, but I don't at this point.
There's already several Simpsons podcasts that would do it way better than we would be doing it. So
maybe one of our April Fool's gags will come true when anytime Zach and I see something fairy tale, we just refer to it as One Piece and continue to do it so. And then Jammer gets really angry. I think that's so like that was such a great April Fool's bit, because I think at the time we were gonna do what we did with Bleach and like, oh, it's the fairy tale podcast, yeah. But at the time, Zach and I were the only ones available. All you, the rest of you guys were busy, and I'm pretty sure it was but it doesn't really matter. But like I suggested, like, hey, how about we just do the manga recap, but just treat fairy tale like it's One Piece, like just act confused, because I think we were in Punk Hazard at the time, and just roll with it. And that wound up being a way better gag, because a lot of people were confused, like, what are you guys talking about? I'm trying to follow along. And I remember Jammer specifically got so angry because he had no idea what was going on.
You mean like
that's
fairy tale? You mean?
Well, we never
when we did
mentioned
the Simpsons commentary.
With the Simpsons commentary was obvious because we had the audio, I think.
Partially, yeah.
But with
like, oh yeah, the episode of One Piece where Lyle Lanley comes and sells everybody the monorail.
No, when we did the fairy tale like April Fool's gag, though, I don't think we ever mentioned that it was fairy tale. We just went with it. And it was great. I think that it's still my favorite April Fool's gag we've done. So yeah, let's just refer to fairy tale as One Piece and piss Jammer off.
Well, every time you see fairy tale, which now that it has ended, won't be ever again.
All right, next one comes from Daniel Venard, who says, not sure if we will cut to Wano before this arc ends or not. What do you think? He needs a Zoro fix. Like, no, I'm always against cross-cutting between stories, and this is way too far. Just end this story, then move on.
And considering that Wano event is in October, it's like it kind of feels like that'll probably be when we get to Wano country. So I don't think you're going to have to wait much longer for Zoro. I think we're going to get to Wano pretty soon.
But are they just referring to like how we saw a little bit of Zoe before Dressrosa wrapped up?
Like in Cold Cake? Yeah. Well, that was almost like a please give us something. Like, give us something. Dressrosa has been going for so long.
That is true.
Need a little taste. Give Daddy a little taste. If bugs crawling my skin.
All right. Next one comes from QuipQuest, who says, when do you think we'll see another Buster Call? It would be a great show of strength if the crew faces one and wins this time. I think
they already won.
Yeah, aren't we kind of beyond the Navy's sphere of influence here? Do they really have anything to do in the New World?
Well, if you want to see a Buster Call that bad, just tune in to watch our favorite wrestler ACH, because he's got a Buster Call.
That's right.
Wow.
That's the. And he also does Texas Smash as well.
And the Spirit Bomb.
That's right. Actually, Keith Lee does the Spirit Bomb too. Keith Lee's awesome. Anyway, next one comes from Keith Hibbs. It says, what kind of changes do you think are... I wish. I mean, he might listen. He's a big anime fan.
I'll have to ask him the next time I go to PWG.
All right.
Just shout that out in the middle of a match. Listen to our podcast.
Had on a business card. What kind of changes do you think are necessary for the live action One Piece? I think we kind of established a few. Probably some motion capture characters, a large budget, maybe some unknown young actors. I don't know.
Find a good middle ground in terms of just how much you want to replicate the look of the series and how much you want to ground it to reality.
Yeah, not obviously skip over some parts. No matter how great they are in the manga, there's certain things that could, for pacing and tone, might be weird in live action.
Yeah, like Gaimon.
Yeah, you could probably skip Gaimon completely.
It's the Tom Bombadil of One Piece.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. Our last one. Stacey Chen just chimes in to say, looking back at hashtag One Piece 20th with the straw hat emoji, I'm so glad I found you guys. Thanks for all that you guys managed to do for the One Piece community. Thank you, Stacey, for thanking us. But seriously, it's very gratifying to have people continually appreciate the work that we do. So that's part of the reason we keep doing it. Part of the reason is we just can't help ourselves, and we would talk about this even if nobody was recording it. And but we love our fans, and we look forward to seeing you all at Otakon this year, if you can make it. Or at any convention near you, really. Tell us where you want us to be, and we'll try and get there. But I think that's it.
More importantly, tell the convention that you want to see us,
That's right.
they can, make us guests.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, it happened with MatsuriCon.
That's right.
There you go.
But that's it for the Piece Together segment. Let's round off the show.
Yay, let's round it off. Let's record that shit. This
has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 479 for the week of Monday, July 24th, 2017. And on this episode, we had a manga recap of Chapter 873, Recipe for Disaster, anime recap for episode 797. We did some Piece Together, and we're warming up for next week. We're going to have Steven back. There's no manga, but we're going to talk about the One Piece magazine book, and that's going to be there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff in there. We get to go through it with Steven, and that's always a pleasure to do that sort of extra content with him. The volume recaps, and even when we did the data book, and now the magazine book. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Just want to thank everyone for coming on this week. First of all, Roger, is there anything that you would like to plug?
No. I just actually got back from vacation. I was in Orlando, and I did that whole One Piece 20 for 20 series at the beginning of the month, where I did 20 videos for the first 20 days of July to celebrate the 20th anniversary of One Piece. If you haven't watched that series, now would be the best time to do it, because it's all on a playlist available on my YouTube channel, which is Rogers Base. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Rogers Base as well. And I'm also currently doing a 20 for 20 giveaway, which is linked on my YouTube channel. So everything's pretty much linked on my YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Sam, you actually were written up with the Barnes and Noble thing. They've been doing the One Piece 20th anniversary, so they've been going through Barnes and Nobles. They have their own basically their own book blog, like for graphic novels.
Sci-fi fantasy blog on BarnesandNoble.com.
But they've been going through all the One Piece volumes. I think they've been using the omnibuses, but for the 20th anniversary, they asked some people in the online anime writing sphere to put some stuff on paper, and Sam volunteered from our side to do that. So if you want to go check that out, I think we've retweeted that several times. So you can go check that out there at Barnes and Noble's Sci-Fi and Fantasy blog. But Sam, is there anything else that you wanted to plug, or how can people contact you?
They can find me, as always, on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. They can find me on Anime's News Network, animesnewsnetwork.com, doing the daily streaming review for One Piece, Dragon Ball Super, and My Hero Academia. And they can find me on the One Piece podcast every week, doing the daily streaming reviews.
All right. And Alex, what have you been up to, man? What have you been up to?
So I've been doing a lot of improv. So if you're in the DC area and want to see improv comedy done by yours truly and a bunch of other folks that I do improv with, head to Herald Night on Tuesdays. It's free, and I'm there basically 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. and it's a good time.
Cool.
You can always find me, of course, at Dude Exclamation on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and other social media platforms. You can find me, obviously, at Otakon, not just with the One Piece podcast, but also with Super Art Fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell you that we will be there. And if you are not there, then you shall kindly be square. And I will also be at another interesting convention in DC Labor Day weekend called Escape Velocity. I'll be performing improv there as doing a DVD commentary mystery science theater type show, as well as another sci-fi type show. And Super Art Fight will be there as well. I'm not sure if I'm on that card, but hopefully I'll be there already. So that's Escape Velocity, Labor Day weekend, and more importantly, Otakon, the weekend of the 11th of August.
It's like 18 days from now, I think.
Yeah, so counting down.
Yes. Alrighty, and Steve, what are you up to these days?
Besides working, currently storyboarding for an animated series. I don't think I could necessarily say, but I've just been busy. But the summer of anime continues because I will be at Otakon. I will be in Artist Alley. Also, if you happen to be going to the Crunchyroll Expo in Santa Clara, California, I'll be there too, and I'll be in that Artist Alley.
I will see you there.
Oh, cool. Roger's going. Good. I know one person that'll be there. I think Roger could attest to this. I have no idea what to expect, but Mag West is also happening next door, the West Coast version of MagFest. So if all else fails, I will be going to Mag West at night and
experiencing
drinking and playing video
24-hour bacchanal of video games.
games. Yes.
And as for the podcast, I am Edward E. Festisio on Twitter, and I'm back on watching 100 Great Anime Films, although that's going to be slow going through the next 3 weeks because it's G1 season, which means more wrestling than anime. But I did watch Summer Wars last week, one of my favorites, and I got to go to the theater yesterday and see the dubbed version of Kiki's Delivery Service, which is always a fun movie to watch. And again, as for the podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. OnePiecePodcast is our Skype name. Please support us, Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. Subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number. That's 347-497-MAJI. 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Call anytime.
Anytime. So, for the One Piece podcast, my name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Roger already left.
Three.
And this piece. We got this piece.